still kind of delving in conspiracy theory land. Another one that's been floating around out there is one of them is that he had $100 million and wanted to start his own distribution company. And the higher ups weren't too, excited about that. So they put a hit on him. Once again, these aren't things I necessarily believe or Lonzo necessarily believes, but I would love your comment on that because that was surrounding Suge Knight as well and Murder Inc. When Murder Inc. and Suge and Jay Prince down south were trying to do their thing. Murder Inc. gets indicted by the FBI. Next thing you know, Suge Knight starts getting messed with, death row falls. What do you think about that?
Well, you know what, man, again, you don't have the right to control your own money, okay? And basically what distribution does is control the money, all right? I've been involved in situations where, I personally been involved in situations where the record company sold records, and because somebody filed a lawsuit or said call file, I ain't paying nobody. Distribution company locks up all the money. I'm gonna hold the money till y'all tell me to let it go. Meanwhile, the money is gaining interest someplace. Okay, so when the money is finally freed up, they're not giving you. They just giving you the money that was owed. They're not giving you the interest. So as a record company, people have to understand. As a record company, record company's job is to hold the money as long as possible. Okay. They want to hold the money because as long as they hold the money, that money is making more money in other ways. It's not just about your royalties. That's why it takes so long for you to get all your money. They always hold money to keep money in reserve so that they can generate more money from your money and just pay you your principal after they've flipped it 2 or 3 times. And this is a known fact. This is why it's so important that they keep control of the money. The money is the only, they don't care about the music. They care about the money the music generates. In the record companies, record contract, like I think I told you before, they have a thing called free goods. Free goods give you 10% of all record sales can be given away. So that means if you sell 1 million records, I can give away 100,000 at $10 a piece. Okay, that's $10,000. That's $1 million that you just ain't got. They don't want to account for. You pay for it. You pay for the pressing. Pay for the manufacturing, and they still give it away and give it to whoever they want to. That's $1 million. That's 10,000 records is worth 10,000 CDs worth $1 million. Okay. Same thing with what they call reserves. Reserves is another thing. So reserves is what they would do in the actual physical record days. They would, if you sold them, say you sold 1 million records, keep it real simple. They'd only pay you on maybe 600,000, keep 400,000 in reserve in case they get returned, and they have to that way they don't have to go back and get you to get them back their money. So they'll hold about 40%, so that they'll have something, in the event that your record stops selling and they have to give people back their money. That's the justification. But basically, they first royalty check, they give you in advance. Your first royalty check probably ain't due until about 90 days after your record come out. So if your record come out in January, your first royalty check won't be available till September. You're only gonna get a certain percentage of that, and then that one won't come out again till 6 months after that, and then you're gonna go get a certain percentage of that. Okay, so if they hold back 40%, they may still hold another 40% of the 40%. It may take you 4 or 5 years to get all your money if your record went platinum or gold. And that's why Michael Jackson and other big artists is always pitching the pitch. Michael Jackson records don't come back.
Prince
don't come back. They don't come back. They just get, if they do come back, they get reshipped back out again. So if it takes an artist 4 or 5 years to get all this money, this is why sometimes it takes a long time for artists to make albums, because they didn't want to have all this money tied up. You got an album that came out in 2000, and I ain't finished getting paid. It's 2005. You still owe me money. Okay, you still owe me money. That's why artists want such big advances, because it takes so long for them to get all their money back. And meanwhile, while all these reserves are being held, people the money is in an interest-bearing account, making more money for the record company that you don't get.
Yeah. Damn, dude. Someone in the chat said, I hope the artists are paying attention. Like, real talk, man. This is stuff you got to pay attention to, and it's scary how they take advantage of us, man.
Here's the crazy part. That return and reserve clause is still in some contracts, although you can't return a digital file. Okay?
Oh.
Once a digital file is downloaded, you can't give it back.
What?
That clause. Some of those clauses are still in contract today.
That should be illegal.
Okay? It's not that's where a good lawyer comes in at. They will give it to you. They'll tell you how, man. They'll give you the contract. If your lawyer or you don't know what's going on, don't pay attention. It's not their job to teach you. And this is where the record company comes in, and that's why people fall victim to the game all the time, because they look at that top of that contract and see that big number with their name, that check with their name on it, and that's all they care about. I've been there. I've done it. It happened to me. Shit, I know what happens. Your mind go to the store, go to the mall, Doc. You're not thinking about them other 40 pages. You're not thinking about them 40 pages. So it's not after the fact you realize how bad you got screwed, but by that time it's too late. And for me, I've been lucky. It's just most of the people that took advantage of me eventually went out of business. They just went out of business. So I was able to retain all my stuff.
Man. Good shit, Lonzo. And I promise everybody we are going to get to all of the questions in the chat. Please, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, hit that like button, smash it. Let everybody know we are here. Before we move on, Lonzo, do you have are we doing a back in the day segment?
I got a little 5-minute back in the day segment. Well,
perfect.
Actually,
all right,
cool. Back in the day, it's like what's happening right now. I did a tour of the studio.
Cool. You want to do it now?
We can do whenever. You tell me.
Oh, whenever. No, okay. Oh, no, we'll do it closer. Yeah, okay, cool. I just wanted to keep it in mind so we don't run out of time. Let's get to some of the questions, man. And if you have any other questions, please comment down below. D-Cause Lonzo, how did you hear about the SP1200 the very first time you bought one? That was a big deal, right? The SP12 back in the day was a big deal, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, Doc. I had little samplers. I had the SP12. I had the SP12 first. And where Michel'le Records, where we did the distributor we all did business with, right down the street from Michel'le, right next to Michel'le was the label factory that made all the labels for Michel'le. Right next to there was a recording supply store. They sold tape and they sold machines and supplies, and they also fixed recorders. But right next to them was a recording studio. Okay. But right next to them was Nadine's Music. Nadine's Music was a pretty nice. It's still there as far as I know. I've been there years. It was a pretty reputable studio. I mean, a music store, and I think it was, I forgot who it was, but they had a brand new policy that you can buy equipment up to $2,500 on credit, and the SP1200 had just come out, and
cost $2,500, right?
$2,500. It was actually $22, but it was retailing for $29.95. But you might get it if you knew somebody paid cash, you might get it for $23. But I didn't know nobody. I didn't pay cash. I had to go through the process, and that was the latest and the greatest. Because you have to also understand, back then we were very competitive when it came to equipment. If we heard somebody had something, the new keyboard, we had to go get it too. Or we heard the new keyboard was coming out, we had to go run and get it. And that's how stupid we were. Okay. And when the SP1200 came out, that was a game changer, because now not only because we had an SP12, which was a cool drum machine, but it didn't have no type of storage shit on it. It only you had to put a Radio Shack tape-driven backup recorder on there to save your data. Okay, it was horrible. And the SP1200 had a disk drive in it. Had use floppy disk, and it had a longer sampling rate, a higher sampling rate, and longer sampling. And it just made the game that much cheaper, dude. And I can't where I heard about it from. I think it might have been either Unknown or Arabian, because they were always going to the NAMM show, and they kept me abreast of all that kind of stuff. So I'd have to say probably was Unknown or Arabian that actually turned me on to it. Right. So who that?
Right.
Who's the? Oh, they went under after the riots. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, the shot. Someone mentioned that. The Paramount Studios, right? It was right next to Nadine's music store. It went underfold after the riots. Trust me, you don't want to know how I know. I don't. Because I hope you didn't just. I hope you didn't just like make all of us. I ain't trying to get subpoenaed, dog. So don't be saying shit, D-Cause, please.